Lectures stink. What's up, students, parents, teachers, therapists, anybody who's interested in supporting kids with executive function challenges? Part 4 of a 4-part series on lectures stink. If you looked at the other parts, you know that we were talking about student. We were doing the temperature check. The student said as far as their ability to pay attention, they wanted me to help them figure out how to pay attention to this lecture better, this particular class. So I said, what score do you give yourself? They said a 6 or 7. Okay, how do you make it an 8? How do you make it a 9? How do you make it a 10? We're going to talk about how to make it an 11. So my name's Seth Perler at sethperler.com. If you like what I'm doing, share it around. All right, what is going to make it an 11? First of all, the reason I don't always ask students with a temperature check what would make it another point higher, another point higher, another point higher. But the reason I did this with number 11, well, really with the 8, 9, 10, 11, so 4 iterations of complexity with this, is because I didn't feel that the answers I was getting were enough to make significant change in terms of them being able to pay attention to the lecture. Now, for those of you teachers, parents, coaches out there, you might be thinking to yourself, yeah, Seth, the student said nothing about when it comes to listening to a lecture in a class, they said nothing about actual study skills. They were talking about the environment that they're working in and this, that, and the other great things. And that's what I knew. I knew that I needed to get this student there. I wanted to get them there on their own. I didn't want to be the one telling them, because it's so much more powerful when we empower students and they have agency. So here's what happened. Okay, student, what would make it an 11? Student says, better notes. What does that mean? And then we unpack that. So here are some of the things that we came up with for this student. 1, take better notes. If somebody says take better notes, I'm going to be like, okay, how? If I'm coaching someone and they say take better notes, I'm not going to be like, oh, great. I'm going to be like, well, what the heck does that mean? What are better notes? Because if we don't identify it, then better notes means nothing. So we came up with putting images on their notes, making their notes very visual, writing more examples from what the teacher was saying, writing more examples, reviewing their notes to see if they're missing anything in their notes, color coding their notes, doing practice problems with their notes, creating flashcards from their notes. We talked about active learning versus passive learning. And what I was talking about is with active learning, one of the best ways to learn anything is to teach it. So using your notes to teach somebody, and so we finally ended up on this accountability piece with turning it into an 11, was I said, is there any friend or anybody that you can use for accountability to actually teach it to and go through your notes with, so that it's not just you? And it's more fun and it's more active learning rather than passive. And they said their best friend's name, and they also said their parents. So that's 3 people for this student that they can have accountability with to go over their notes with. So finally, to wrap up everything, we will go through this temperature check. I wanted the student to figure this out on their own. I'm really proud of the student for applying all these principles. In the last few weeks, the student has made tremendous progress in places that they were going through really slowly. It was like going through mud. They really got structure that allowed them to move through these classes. They're trying to finish up, as I said, their senior year. They were able to move through this stuff much, much, much more effectively, quickly, easily. And with much less stress because of these things that we're applying now. So again, to recap, I did the temperature check to get this information, and then tried to get more layers of complexity until I got to the point where I was like, yep, now this student is at a place where I think it's really going to make a difference if they start applying this stuff. Doesn't mean they're applying it, so that's more coaching in terms of accountability and making sure we're following through with it. But the foundation is very, very clear right now and very good to really make some good progress. My name is Seth Perler. What takeaways do you have? Pop it in the chat right now. Tell me what you think. If you like it, you can give it a thumbs up, subscribe, share the video with people. If you want to support me, I really appreciate it. Put my heart and soul into my work, and appreciate it if you share it around. You can find me at sethperler.com, executivefunctionsummit.com. The summit is coming up soon for year, I don't even know, 6 or 7. And Executive Function Lab for parents, executivefunctionlab.com. You can check me out there. I want to wish you peace in your heart. I want to wish you joy. And most of all, I want to wish you connection with the people you care about, particularly the kids in your life. Have a fantastic day. Take care.